My name is Daniel Hayes, and I brought my daughter, Ellie, to Oakridge Estates with a fragile hope for a fresh start after a life turned upside down. Oakridge was the kind of suburb you'd see in a glossy, brochure-wide streets framed by towering new oaks that cast dappled shadows, lawns so perfect they looked painted, and kids darting through the golden sunlight with soccer balls or bicycles, their laughter a melody of innocence. It was a far cry from the cramped apartment we'd left behind in the city, where Ellie's mom, Claire, had walked out 2 years ago, abandoning us for a new life that didn't include her family. Claire's departure left a void, silent dinners, empty rooms, but I clung to the dream of Oakridge as a sanctuary where Ellie could heal, where I could be both father and shield. But peace was a fleeting illusion. Trouble stormed in with Karen Hensley, the HOA president who transformed our haven into a battlefield with her unyielding rules and venomous spite. She thought she could silence my girl, thought she could break us with her petty tyranny. What she didn't know was that I'm not just a dad dime, an AI systems engineer with the expertise to dismantle her schemes. When she sabotaged Ellie's lifeline, I didn't just fight back. I ensured she'd face a downfall she'd never recover from. Ellie's 8, a tiny spark with freckles dusting her nose like constellations and hazel eyes that ignite when she laughs, a sound as rare as it is precious after our losses. She has spinal muscular atrophy, a condition that weakens her muscles, leaving her unable to walk or speak with clarity. Her voice is a fragile whisper, each word a battle against her frail body. But her mind is a whirlwind of curiosity, asking about stars, humming tunes, or marveling at the tech gadgets I bring home from work. To give her independence, I poured my skills into Ellie's voice, a custom voice-activated home system I coded myself. Installed in our living room and bedroom, it controls lights, music, and a motorized chair to move her around, responding to her soft commands. Lights on. Music play, call Dad. The system's AI, tailored to her unique speech patterns, became her bridge to the world, her face glowing as she directed the house with her words. Watching her command lights dim to settle into a story time, I saw her spirit soar, a reminder of the life Claire had left behind. It was her freedom, her voice, and I'd move mountains to protect it. We'd settled into our ranch house on Cedar Lane for a year, carving out a rhythm amid the pain. Ellie's mornings were filled with therapy physical sessions to strengthen her arms, speech exercises to coax her voice while I worked remotely, refining AI models for a tech firm, my laptop humming beside her puzzles. The neighborhood welcomed us at first, with Mrs. Kim across the street leaving cookies and Mr. Alvarez next door waving as he tended his garden. But Karen Hensley marked us early. Karen was a towering figure, wiry and angular, with a steel-gray bob that framed a face carved with disdain. Her voice sliced through the air, and she wielded her HOA clipboard like a gavel, ruling with an iron will that brooked no dissent. A hedge an inch too high, a $75 fine slipped under your door, a child's tricycle left out after dusk, a scolding letter in bold print. Neighbors muttered over fences, their frustration a low hum, but fear kept them compliant. I tried to stay invisible, paying dues and tucking Ellie's system behind bookshelves, its speakers discreet. But Karen's eyes were predatory, and Ellie's difference her chair. Her soft voice became her obsession. The trouble began with noise complaints, a harbinger of her vendetta. One crisp evening in late summer, Ellie giggled, commanding music play to hear Twinkle, Twinkle, her favorite lullaby. The volume a gentle hum, barely audible beyond our walls. Karen knocked, her rap as harsh as her glare. That racket's disturbing the peace, she said, jabbing a finger at the living room speaker visible through the window. I stepped onto the porch, keeping my tone measured. It's Ellie's assistive system. She has a disability, and it's quiet below. HOA limits. Karen's lips thinned into a slash. It's unapproved. Fix it, or I'll fine you. I'd pored over the bylaws late into the night. No rule-banned assistive technology, but her threat lingered like a storm cloud. Fines followed. $100 for excessive equipment. $50 for unsightly wiring along the baseboards. Another. $75 for noise pollution when Ellie tested a new command during a therapy session. I paid them, my savings eroding. Each payment a bitter pill. Kelly sensed the strain. One night, as I tucked her into bed, her motorized chair humming to a stop, she whispered, "Dad, is my voice too loud? Does it make Ms. Karen mad?" My heart shattered. I knelt, brushing her hair back, my voice thick. "Your voice is beautiful. Sweetheart, she just doesn't understand you." But inside, I was a furnace, my anger simmering, ready to erupt. Oakridge bore the weight of Karen's reign. Mr. Alvarez, a retiree who'd lost his wife to illness, got fined $60 for his wind chimes, a soft jingle he swore kept her memory alive. The Jenkins family, new parents with a 3-month-old, faced a noise violation when their baby cried at 2 a.m., disruptive to the community. Karen declared her letter curt. At the community park, she banned wheelchairs from the grass, claiming it ruined the turf, leaving Ellie watching playdates from the sidewalk, her face falling. Neighbors whispered at mailboxes, their voices low with frustration. Mrs. Kim left us cookies again, her eyes apologetic, while Mr. Jenkins muttered about moving. The air grew thick with tension, a chill that settled over Oakridge's once warm streets, turning waves into wary nods. I shielded Ellie with routines, puzzle nights with her favorite space themes, story time with her favorite book about a brave astronaut. Her voice lighting the room with lights dim, but Karen's shadow loomed larger, her clipboard a constant. Spectre. It was a rainy October afternoon, the kind where droplets traced the windows like tears when Karen struck. Ellie was in her motorized chair, practicing commands, lights dim. Music soft, her therapy homework, while I worked upstairs, debugging an AI model for a client. The rain, a soothing backdrop. My phone buzzed with a security alert. From Ellie's system, a feature I'd coded to detect intrusions, its ping cutting through the storm. The app flashed an unauthorized access warning, the signal traced to our Wi-Fi. My blood turned to ice. I bolted downstairs, taking the steps 2 at a time, finding Ellie in tears. Her chair stalled mid-room, lights flickering like a dying pulse. "Dad, it's broken," she cried, her voice a fragile thread, barely audible over the crackling. Speaker. The system looped garbled commands off, a cruel echo of her attempts to call me. Someone had hacked Ellie's voice, disabling its core. Stranding her in a house that no longer listened, I knelt beside her, my hands steadying her chair as tears streaked her freckled cheeks, her small frame trembling. "It's okay, baby." "I've got you," I said, rebooting the system manually, my fingers flying over the controls. The logs revealed a crude override. Someone had injected a basic script to fry the voice recognition module, a hack so sloppy it screamed amateur desperation. I traced the IP to Karen's network, 3 houses down, her arrogance leaving a digital trail. Rage surged, hot and blinding. But I locked it down for Ellie. I restored basic functions, the light steadying, and held her as she sobbed into my shoulder, her tears soaking my shirt. "Why, Dad?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "I don't know, sweetheart," I lied, my mind a whirlwind of plans. This was no accident. Karen had targeted my daughter's lifeline, her independence, and I was done with mercy. I called the police, my voice tight with controlled fury. An officer arrived, a young man with a weary sigh, glanced at the logs on my tablet, and shrugged. "Hard to prove without a confession," he said. "Sounds like a civil matter unless someone steps forward." Mrs. Kim peeked through her curtains. Her face pale, but stayed silent. Her fear of Karen's retaliation a chain. Mr. Alvarez shook his head, muttering, "Not worth the fight with that woman." The Jenkinses didn't even look out, their blinds drawn tight. I photographed the logs, the flickering lights. Ellie's tear-streaked face, my hands trembling with a mix of grief and rage. That night, I transformed into a hunter. As an AI systems engineer, I'd built security protocols for Fortune 500 companies. My code a fortress against breaches. I mirrored Karen's network, uncovering her laptop's log and our Wi-Fi password, stolen from an old HOA email she'd intercepted during a routine update I'd shared. I recorded the breach, time-stamped every byte. My evidence, a ticking bomb ready to detonate. I called Tara Nguyen, cybersecurity lawyer and former colleague who'd celebrated my last project launch with me. Her voice, a lifeline in the storm. "Karen sabotaged Ellie's assistive system," I said, "sending the logs, the photos, the IP trace. I want her prosecuted." Tara's tone was steel, honed by years in courtrooms. "That's unauthorized access, intentional harm, and reckless endangerment. I'll file charges. Give me 3 days to build the case." I thanked her, my resolve hardening into steel. Karen thought she'd silenced Ellie. She was about to face my expertise and a legal storm. While Tara prepared, I reached out to my tech allies. On a private engineering forum, I shared Ellie's story, masking her name, but not her struggle. A disabled girl's lifeline, destroyed by a neighbor's malice. Responses flooded in, engineers offering to rebuild the system. A Silicon Valley firm donating a new AI module with advanced encryption. Hobbyists sending virtual hugs. Ellie's voice was reborn, upgraded, with fail-safes, and her face glowed as she tested it, lights on. Her voice clear through the speakers, a triumph over the darkness. The community's support stoked my fire, a blaze Karen couldn't extinguish in Oakridge. Karen doubled down, her spite a wildfire. She sent a $200 fine, claiming Ellie's repaired system violated quiet hours, even after the sabotage. Her letter dripping with sarcasm. She cornered Mrs. Kim at the mailbox, accusing her of spying for me, her voice a whip cracking against the morning air. She glared at Mr. Alvarez's wind chimes, muttering about another fine. But her reign was cracking. At the park, Jenna whispered over a bench, "She'll find us for our porch light left on." I'm done with her. Mr. Jenkins nodded, his baby cooing in a stroller. She's a tyrant. I seeded the neighborhood app with a subtle call, HOA. Meeting, bring your grievances. Karen didn't notice, too busy crafting her next decree, her clipboard a shield against the murmurs growing around her. Tara called, her voice triumphant. "Karen sloppy," she said. "Her IP matches. Your logs and that HOA email seals intent. Judge Carter, who raved about your tech talk last year, is on the bench. Charges were filed: unauthorized computer access, reckless endangerment, emotional distress, seeking $20,000 in damages." "She's finished," Tara said. I imagined Karen's smug face crumpling, and it fueled my every step. The HOA meeting was a breaking point, a dam about to burst. I rallied neighbors through hushed talks over fences as leaves fell. At the mailbox as rain cleared, at the park where Ellie once watched from the sidelines. The community center overflowed, chairs scraping, voices humming with defiance. Karen sat at the front, clipboard poised, her smirk unshaken, a queen on a throne of paper. I walked in, not as Daniel the quiet dad, but as Daniel Hayes, engineer. With a tablet and USB, my firm's logo on my sleeve, a silent badge of authority. Whispers trailed mere recognition from those who'd seen my name in tech journals. As I took the stage, plugging in my evidence. Karen Hensley sabotaged my daughter's voice-activated system, I said. my voice carrying over the room. I projected the log's her IP address, the hacked script. The looped-off, taunting the silence gasps, rippling like waves. Ellie has spinal muscular atrophy. Her system is her voice, her freedom. Karen broke it to punish her. Shoot. Her finds a stack of paper cuts. Then Tara's evidence, HOA emails linking her to the breach, a digital noose. The room erupted. Mr. Alvarez stood, his voice trembling but firm. She'll find my wind chimes for years, my wife's memory. Jenna shouted. She threatened my kids over a swing set. Mrs. Kim, clutching a tissue, added, she yelled at me for baking smells, said it was pollution. Mr. Jenkins joined. She'll find us for our baby's cries. Voices piled on decades of tyranny, unleashed in a cacophony of rage. Aaron's face flushed crimson. This is a lie, a setup. She screamed, slamming her clipboard. But I played. Her recorded mutter, that brat system ends tonight, caught by my outdoor mic during a rain-soaked test. The crowd chanted, out, out. The HOA board, 3 sweating men in ill-fitting suits, conferred, their eyes darting. Karen Hensley is removed as president, the chairman declared, his voice barely audible over the cheers. She fled. Her clipboard crashing to the floor, her power a shattered illusion, heels echoing into the night. The trial was a reckoning, a courtroom stage for justice. Tara presented the logs, the recording. Ellie's video testimony, her whisper breaking as she said, I couldn't call Dad. I was scared, her face a mirror of vulnerability. I testified, my voice steady but raw with emotion. She stole. My daughter's independence left her helpless in her own home. Ellie asked why, and I had no answer. My throat caught, and I gripped the stand, picturing her tears, her trust in me. Karen's lawyer floundered, spinning tales of misunderstanding, but the evidence was a guillotine logs, IP traces, her own words. Judge Carter, a tech enthusiast, who'd once grilled me on AI ethics at a conference, ruled with a gavel's finality, guilty of unauthorized computer access and reckless endangerment. Karen got 8 months probation, a $25,000 fine, $10,000 to replace the system, $12,000 for Ellie's distress, $3,000 punitive bond, a permanent ban from HOA rolls. Her reputation crumbled, her house soon a for sale sign silent. Witness, her name a cautionary tale whispered in Oakridge's shadows. Ellie's system flourished, a phoenix from ashes. The new module, donated by the tech firm, added voice games, a safety alert that pinged my phone, even a feature to read. Her bedtime stories. At a community fair in the park, she demoed it Lights Dance, and the crowd cheered, her voice strong against the autumn breeze, her chair gliding with pride. Oakridge healed under new leadership. Jenna, the young mom, took the HOA presidency, lifting Karen's rules with a smile. Neighbors waved, brought gifts, Mrs. Kim's chocolate chip cookies in a tin. Mr. Alvarez's wind chimes as a loan for our porch, the Jenkins baby offering a gummy grin. One crisp evening, Ellie and I sat by the fireplace, its warmth chasing the chill, her voice commanding music soft to play a lullaby. She smiled, her eyes bright. Dad, I'm free, she whispered, her hand finding mine. I hugged her, my heart swelling, the void Claire left filled with this moment. Karen tried to silence her, but Ellie's voice rang louder than ever, a melody of resilience. Kay made sure of it, and Oakridge was ours again, its streets alive with hope.